Good morning everybody, good morning, it's JPR and welcome back to another video. The word rarity comes up in Pokemon all the time. Generally, everyone wants to know how rare a particular Pokemon is. But Pokemon also has its fair share of rare events to chase as well. Now, when I say rare events, I don't mean like those lost Wi-Fi events from a decade ago. I mean exceptionally hard to find content in the base game that you can still encounter today. So let's break it down. What are the rarest occurrences in every Pokemon region? And since I made this video about the rarest Pokemon in every region, I will not be talking about anything that I talked about in that video just to avoid being redundant, or shinies for that matter. That should be pretty self-explanatory, but yeah, let's get into it. So it's worth noting that a lot of these rare events don't actually start popping up until Gen 3, so for the first couple of gens, we'll have to get creative. In the Kanto region, specifically Gen 1, one of the rarest things that can happen to you is of course associated with a glitch. Thanks to a coding error, there's a 1 in 256 chance that you'll always miss your move, even if you used a move that has 100% accuracy. I'm no coding wizard by any means, but apparently accuracy was supposed to be coded as, if rolled value is less than or equal to 255, then the move will land. But it was accidentally left as strictly less than 255. So if the game randomly rolls the number 255, which it will roll even for 100% accurate moves, your move will miss. Hence why this glitch is called the 1 in 256 miss glitch, or sometimes simply the 99.6 glitch. Because of this glitch, many people also say that a Master Ball has a low chance of failing in Gen 1, but in truth, this is nothing more than an urban legend. The Master Ball in every generation will bypass the formula used for catching Pokemon, so it really is impossible to fail. There are plenty of people online who have claimed to have witnessed a Master Ball failing firsthand, but they're either lying for clout or it's just another example of the Mandela effect in action, since this rumor is so popular. But what about Fire Red and Leaf Green? Well, it was really hard finding anything that involved crazy low odds, other than our good friend Chansey again. I know, we talked about Chansey in that aforementioned rare Pokemon video, but we didn't talk about the Lucky Egg, which Chansey has only a 5% chance of holding. Since Chansey's maximum encounter rate in this game is 4%, that means there's an incredibly low 1 in 500 chance of encountering a Chansey that holds a Lucky Egg. I did manage to find one other cool but rather insignificant thing from the Kanto region that I'm willing to bet almost nobody has ever witnessed. All 14 Pokédolls present in Lorelei's house on 4 Island. Lorelei will start with 6 dolls in her house when you first go there, and for every 25 times you enter the Hall of Fame, she'll add another doll. This number caps at 14 when you've entered the Hall of Fame 200 times. For reference, the average time it takes to defeat the Kanto Elite Four is about 20 to 30 minutes if you have a good team. This means it would take anywhere from about 60 to 100 hours of exclusively grinding Pokemon League rematches to see all of these dolls in your save file. That is, if you're even aware this is a thing to begin with. I know I sure didn't until I started researching for this video. It may not be odds-based, but it's still something I bet that only a handful of people have ever witnessed. In fact, I could only find one video here on YouTube documenting this, and even this guy had to cheat to show it off. So check your Fire Red and Leaf Green cartridges, because maybe you'll see something that few people have ever seen before. If you completely no-life that game, that is. Unfortunately for Johto, there's not much to really talk about here. Despite Heart Gold and Soul Silver having some of the most content in a Pokemon game, there aren't any incredibly uncommon events. So again, it's going to be Chansey holding a Lucky Egg. Specifically in Gen 2, where it has a 1% encounter rate on routes 13, 14, and 15. And the chance of it holding a Lucky Egg in Gen 2 is actually lower than in any other generation. Instead of 5%, here it's 2%. So instead of the 1 in 500 chance from Fire Red and Leaf Green, in Gold, Silver, and Crystal, that chance is now 10 times higher, 1 in 5,000. Making Gen 2 Lucky Egg one of the hardest non-event items to obtain in the history of Pokemon. For reference, there's a lower chance of finding a Lucky Egg in Gen 2 than there is of finding an unboosted shiny Pokemon in today's games. And of course, this would be the case for the generation with the worst EXP problems. But wait, because this isn't even the hardest item to get in all of Pokemon. That's coming up. It's also worth noting that Gold and Silver are the games that introduced the Pokemon Lotto ID, a feature that has persisted into the current day. If you match all 5 ID numbers with one of your Pokemon, you can win another Master Ball. However, the odds of a perfect match happening with only your own Pokemon are a measly 1 in 100,000. Not quite as bad as the real-life lottery, but hey, close enough. Even if all 280 Pokemon in your Gen 2 storage system were traded and had different ID numbers, that's still only a 0.28% chance. which, funnily enough, is still way higher odds than finding that lucky egg from before. Fortunately, as box storage has gotten bigger and bigger over the years, it's slightly more possible to win that Master Ball today. Alright, so as I said before, Gen 3 is where these events really start getting spicy. Of course, there's the well-documented Mirage Island that appears randomly in the middle of Route 130. Every day, a random digit between 0 and 65,535 is rolled, and if that number matches the first 2 digits of any of your Pokemon's personality values, then Mirage Island will appear. So with 6 different Pokemon in your team, you can get the odds of Mirage Island appearing down to a generous 1 in 10,923. Literally rarer than any shiny Pokemon in existence. But you can re-roll this multiple times a day by simply switching out the Pokemon in your party with those in a box. And there are a lot of other methods that you can use to make Mirage Island way more likely to appear than it should, but they're all really long-winded explanations that only a small handful of you would actually understand. Truthfully, even I don't really understand. So we'll stick with the 1 in 10,000, why not? But as for that rarest item in Pokemon history, that would be the Lychee Berry that appears on this island. There is only one that can be found here, and nowhere else in Hoenn or Gen 3 in general. If you exclude the event Zigzagoon that holds one to apologize for the berry glitch. Yes, that was a thing that happened. They literally gave away a Zigzagoon as an apology. Another neat little event present in Gen 3 Hoenn, but remarkably easier to find than anything we've talked about thus far, is the random hiker that can appear on the mountain when you take the cable car up to Mount Chimney. There is a 1 in 64 chance of this occurring and serves no purpose other than you telling your friends about it and them not believing you. I know because this happened to me firsthand as a kid. And when I went to show my friends, I could never replicate it a second time. Thank you, Game Freak, for ruining my street cred. Apparently, Zigzagoon and Poochyena were also coded to appear on the mountain with the same 1 in 64 chance, but because of a bug, they did not. In Diamond and Pearl, the rarest thing that can happen is hitting a Focus Blast in your first attempt. Or finding a Munchlax in the wild, but that's something we've already discussed in the Rarest Pokemon video, so not much else to really say about Sinnoh. There is the Diamond Dust weather condition that only happens on certain days of the year in Snow Point City, the most commonly documented day being January 12th, Junichi Masuda's birthday. But actually, there are about 10 days of the year when this special weather can be observed. Diamond Dust is actually much rarer in the Unova, Kalos, and Alola regions. In Unova, it appears in Icera City on New Year's Eve, and in Kalos and Alola, it can be observed at the Frost Cavern and Mount Lanakila on the player's birthday. So, it may not be odds-based, but still, it only happens once every 365 days, so it's worth noting. Other than Diamond Dust, one of the hardest events to ever witness in Unova is catching Zekrom or Reshiram at the Dragon Spiral Tower. In Black and White 1, that is, not 2. Normally, if you knock out or run away from the legendary dragon at End's castle, the game will let you rebattle it an infinite number of times until you finally catch it. These are supposed to be the series' first unfailable catches, but in the event that you have filled all 24 boxes in the PC system and it's literally impossible to catch them, the game will allow you to defeat them and continue to the fights against N and Ghetsis. As soon as the postgame starts, you can then head to Dragon Spiral Tower for the rematch. This is an incredibly hard event to activate, seeing as how you need to catch 726 total Pokemon. That's basically catching every available Pokemon in the Unova Dex 5 times. Only Zekrom and Reshiram would ever get this treatment, as from Gen 6 onward there is a secret 31st box that is only unlocked once you capture the legendary mascot, ensuring that you'll always have a chance to capture them. In the Kalos region, I sadly wasn't able to locate any incredibly low-chance events, so we're going back to the hard-to-find item for this one, specifically the Eviolite. Now, the first Eviolite you get is really easy. You can find one with no strings attached in Shalour City. But if you're a competitive player seeking a second Eviolite, that's where things get tough. Once again, we have to turn to our good friends, the Shaking Trash Cans. Not the ones in the Lost Hotel this time, though. Instead, it's the ones in the Pokemon Village. On Thursdays only, after encountering a Pokemon in the Shaking Trash Can, there is a very low chance that an Eviolite will be left behind. How low? Well, I don't know. I tried looking everywhere for the actual chance, but every source just lists it as rare. I tried consulting some friends and other players online too, but none of them have ever reported finding an Eviolite in the trash cans. So I'm assuming this is probably a less than 5% chance. And of course, as mentioned in the rare Pokemon video, resetting these trash cans isn't easy. There's actually a timer on them. And the fact that it's only available on Thursdays just limits you even further. Another really hard item to find is the Razor Claw in Pokemon Sun and Moon, which only has a 5% chance of being held by wild Jangmo-O, which is a 5% encounter in itself in Fast Pony Canyon. Fortunately, Jangmo-o does have a low chance of summoning a Como-o if it calls for help, and Como-o has a 50% chance of holding the item. It's much easier to get the Razor Claw in the Ultra games, but at least in regular Sun and Moon, this makes Weavile one of the most obnoxious Pokemon to obtain. Kinda surprising, seeing as how it's actually in the Alola dex. It's just a rare case of an evolution item that wasn't fully accounted for. But hey, if you were missing those totally pointless and hard to find events, then the Ultra games have got your back. In the Pikachu Valley, when you approach the trailer, a Pikachu will normally exit the vehicle. But under extremely rare circumstances, a Mimikyu will be seen in the doorway instead before it vanishes into the shadows. This does unlock a new line of dialogue with the man staying outside the trailer though, so you can actually prove this one to your friends, unlike the random Hoenn region hiker. Again, unfortunately no odds seem to have been documented for this Mimikyu, but seeing as how it takes most people hours on end to find, and some people end up never finding it, the odds must be far below 1%. Similarly, there is a very low chance encounter with a Delibird sliding down the chimney in Team Skull's manor in Po Town. Some people believe that this could be a reference to popular YouTuber Shady Penguin, since the event involves Delibird and literally happens inside the Shady house. But, more likely just a Santa Claus reference. Hey, maybe they'll reference me in a Pokemon game if you guys help me get to 200,000 subscribers. So if you're enjoying the video, why not subscribe? If you are subscribed, just leaving a like helps me out a lot too. So Sword and Shield are filled with all kinds of little rare events. One of the most rare being that NPCs in the Isle of Armor can sometimes show you shiny Pokemon when you pay for their dex entries with Watts. It's unknown what the rate is, or if it's related to actual shiny rates at all, but nonetheless, it seems pretty uncommon. Also introduced in the Isle of Armor, the Cram-O-Matic machine will randomly generate Pokeballs if fed with Apricorns. Regardless of the color of Apricorns put in, the two rarest Pokeballs that you can get out of it are the Safari Ball and the Sport Ball, the latter being from the bug catching contest in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. The chances of getting either of these balls are 1 in 1,000. They have no special effects, but it is cool to see some retired Pokeballs get brought back in some manner. The item with the rarest spawn chance in the game though is actually the Gold Bottle Cap, which has a minuscule 1 in 10,000 chance of being dug up by the Digging Bros in the wild area. Unlike other rare items we've discussed in this video though, there are much easier ways to obtain the Gold Bottle Cap, namely the Battle Tower and the Cram-O-Matic. And for one last Isle of Armor event, there is an incredibly low chance that the Digging Paw will go into a frenzy to get a whopping 500,000 watts at once. Pokemon Camp also has a few rare events attached. There is a very low chance that wild Pokemon can wander over and join your team when your camp is set up. This chance can be increased by cooking curry and if your Pokemon are feeling sociable and chatting with one another. Additionally, these wild Pokemon tend to come from the rarer side of the encounter table, so this may be a slightly easier method to get rare Pokemon like Stonjourner, Ice-Cube, and Sizzlipede. But even 3 years later, this remains one of the most nebulous and unexplored areas of Sword and Shield. There are no documented odds or specific Pokemon that can be caught using this method. There are rumors that these Pokemon could have boosted shiny rates as well, but it's still unclear. It's kinda neat though, it reminds me of the anime where Ash catches Pokemon by just being friendly towards them. Speaking of Pokemon Camp, on the player's birthday, a candle will be put in your curry. Most people know about the special birthday Pokemon Center music at this point since it's been a feature since X and Y, but the curry one is a little less known. I totally didn't steal this from Papa C on Twitter, by the way. And as far as I know, there aren't any super low chance events in Legends Arceus, so, how about that big Buizel side quest? What a doozy. Have any of these super uncommon things ever happened to you? Were there any that I missed? Let me know in the comments down below. Shout out to Cyanise, my newest channel member. You and all these other wonderful people who constantly support my content are awesome. And thank you for leaving a like on this video and subscribing for more videos just like this one. I'll see you guys next time.